Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a brand new explainer of ACIM, specifically focusing on Lesson 149, which is a really powerful review of Lessons 137 and 138. If you've been following along with the source material, you know that these review lessons are designed to consolidate our learning. They take these big, sometimes dense philosophical ideas and ground them into something we can actively use in our daily lives.
Let's jump right in and look at the first of the two core lessons we're reviewing today. Number 137, when I am healed, I am not healed alone. Man, that is a profound statement. It totally flips our usual, highly individualistic view of personal health and wellness completely on its head.
And right alongside that, we have our second core lesson, number 138, Heaven is the decision I must make. In today's explainer, we're going to unpack this whole idea, framing it as the foundational, absolute most important choice you make every single day.
Now, binding these two specific lessons together is this one overarching thought for Lesson 149. My mind holds only what I think with God. To put that into plain English so it's super easy to grasp, just think of the word God here as a universal source of truth, unity, and absolute peace. The big idea is that any thought rooted in fear, isolation, or anxiety, well, it isn't a real enduring thought at all. It's just static. The only true thoughts we actually hold are the ones perfectly aligned with that universal peace.
Section 1, Lesson 137, Shared Healing. Okay, let's dive into this first concept and deconstruct exactly what shared healing really means in practice. So, the original text can get a little dense sometimes, right? It describes sickness as a retreat, like a shutting off of joining, closing a door on a separate self. But let's bring that down to earth, into plain English. It essentially means when we hurt, we isolate ourselves. Think about the last time you were in pain, physically or emotionally. What's your natural instinct? You pull away, you build a wall. The text teaches us that suffering creates this really powerful illusion of isolation, making us feel like we're totally alone in our struggles.
But the text brilliantly contrasts that isolation by explaining that true healing is the exact opposite. If sickness builds walls, healing completely shatters them. In plain English, healing is a communal, connected experience. The source material actually argues that it's physically and spiritually impossible to heal alone. And you might be wondering why? Because true healing reconnects us to a universal oneness. It's that sudden realization that you're not just some fragmented, isolated piece floating around, but a vital, interconnected part of a much larger whole.
In fact, the text vividly calls healing a counter-dream. It's basically an awakening that completely cancels out the illusion of isolation. I really want you to reflect on this for a second. Think about how your own mental wellness, your own inner peace directly impacts the people around you. When you drop your grievances and heal your own mind, the people you touch, the people you chat with, even the people who just happen to cross your path, they all benefit from that shift. You literally become a haven of rest for others.
Section 2, Lesson 138, Choosing Heaven. Now let's shift gears from this beautiful idea of shared connection to the incredibly vital concept of personal decision-making.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how perfectly it mirrors our frantic 21st century lives. The text talks about how we think we have 1,000 choices confronting us every day. In plain English, we call this modern decision fatigue. We are constantly bombarded with micro-decisions: what to wear, what to eat, how to respond about passive-aggressive email, how to solve whatever crisis pops up. And honestly, it leaves us feeling completely depleted and deeply anxious.
But the text steps right in to completely demystify all that chaos. It tells us that despite the mountain of complex decisions we think we're facing, we actually only ever have one fundamental choice to make. In plain English, it boils down to this: choosing peace over anxiety, choosing unity over conflict. Every single decision you make throughout your entire day is just a variation of this one master choice. You have to ask yourself, do I choose to view this situation through the lens of fear, or do I choose the lens of peace, which the text refers to as heaven?
And that brings us to an absolutely crucial quote from the source material. Heaven is chosen consciously. I absolutely love this because it reminds us that peace doesn't just happen by accident. You don't just trip and fall into a state of zen, right? It requires a deliberate, active, conscious choice to drop our protective armor of fear. We have to actively recognize that our anxiety and our defenses aren't actually keeping us safe. They're just keeping us isolated.
Section 3, Your Daily Practice Schedule. All right, so we've covered the philosophical what. Now let's shift the narrative to the highly practical how. How do we actually do this? Well, the text gives us an exact blueprint for today's practice.
For the first part of our review,
Lesson 137, the source text asks for 10 minutes specifically dedicated to this focus. You're meant to spend 10 minutes in the morning and another 10 minutes at night, just letting your mind rest completely on the idea of shared healing.
Following that up, for Lesson 138, the text requires 5 minutes of focused practice. You are instructed to spend 5 minutes right upon waking to make the conscious choice for peace, and another 5 minutes right before you close your eyes for sleep tonight to reaffirm that choice.
So let me summarize this daily routine clearly for you. You've got your 10 minutes morning and night for Lesson 137. You've got your 5 minutes morning and night for Lesson 138. But here is the absolutely crucial instruction. Throughout the day, as every single hour strikes, you do a brief check-in. It doesn't take long at all. Just a quick mental reset where you repeat the core thoughts to maintain your sanity and your peace as the day just slips by.
Section 4, Final Thoughts and Review. So the crucial point is, practice makes permanent. Bringing these lofty concepts down to earth requires real repetition and a willingness to simply hit pause. Let's bring this explainer full circle for some final retention.
I want to reiterate the exact phrasing of today's two main lesson statements. 137, when I am healed, I am not healed alone. 138, heaven is the decision I must make. Take a deep breath and just let those cement themselves in your memory. These are your daily mantras. Whenever you feel isolated today, remember the first one. And whenever you feel overwhelmed by 1,000 stressful choices today, remember the second.
If you found this breakdown helpful and you want to continue making this daily journey of conscious peace together, please take just a brief second to like and subscribe to the channel. It's a gentle, frictionless way to ensure these explainers keep showing up for you exactly when you need them most.
I want to leave you with one final thought derived directly from today's texts. Will you consciously choose to share your peace and healing with the world today? Because remember, you aren't just doing this for you. When you choose peace, you become an instrument of healing for literally everyone you interact with. Have a beautiful, peaceful day, and I'll see you in the next explainer.